And for today, this is your class. I have an outline where you can go through it. As you have questions and we start going down rabbit holes, we can go. Okay, because AI is moving so fluidly and so rapidly that it's just important to explore your questions and make sure that we get those answered. Okay, I look at AI every day. It's part of what we do at SCALEHound.ai is help companies implement AI. We're not trying to build specific applications. You already own AI. It's in your Microsoft applications, and you'll be surprised at how many companies don't use it at all. And it's a huge capability, and we'll talk a little bit about that today as well. So as we're going through, if you have questions, please ask your questions, and we will continue to work through that. So from paperwork to people work. As we know in the HR world, there's a lot of paperwork, right? And if you think about it, how many tabs did you open before 9 a.m.?
At least 10.
At least 10, right? At least 10. So a lot of time on the computer working with different applications. And that includes your Outlook, your email, your different documents, your search engines, all the different things that may be out there and doing that. And we can see ourselves, we're frustrated. There's just a lot of work to be done and just not enough time to do it during the day. Does this look like anyone here in this room? Yeah, a lot of paperwork to get done and just kind of frustrating. We want to transform that into a happy person, somebody that can work through these workflows, get the work done, and have a life. And that's what we find consistently is that when we implement AI, time to execute condenses and compresses significantly. My background's in the supply chain world. I've actually dabbled a little bit in the recruiting world a little bit, but things that would take 3 or 4 hours, you can get done in 30 minutes now when you use AI and you know how to use it and get the results that you want from your prompts and the things that you're working with. So this is Walt. This is the director of Serendipity Labs. Say thank you for letting us be here today.
My pleasure.
Do you want to say anything about Serendipity Labs or?
Well, first, welcome. Running this down already. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys all being here. If you ever need space, that's kind of what we do. We offer fully serviced office space. That's our core product. It's turnkey, and then event space like this. We try to host events like this regularly to try to bring value to our members as well. Also have co-working options too, so if everybody wants to pop in, just utilize the space more casually. We have those options as well. So if you need anything, let me know. But sorry to interrupt.
Not at all. I want to make sure we're allowed to, you brought us in here and gave us an opportunity to, so I want to make sure we get that opportunity to plug you, get that in there. So what's your number one time suck? Go ahead and write it down. What's your number one time suck? And when we engage with a company, that's the first question we ask. Where are you spending your time? Is it your email box? Is it writing documents, contracts? Is it reviewing documents and contracts? Where do you spend your time? Anyone want to share your time suck with the world? Yes, sir. Okay.
So with funding came out of Q4 actually I help out, but it's still I'm trying to leave an individual to my outreach.
Do you find that having that individual personalization is helpful? Does it make a difference for someone actually replying to your email versus all the other automated emails that they're getting? Yeah, very good. How long does it normally take you to write an email, personalized? Really? Each email?
Ready to go, but then I need to edit them, do it specific to a candidate, so 10, 20 minutes, depending on how much you want.
Do you use AI right now to do that at all?
Yeah, I'm looking prompts to try and I have all the stage which helps with that.
Okay.
But I used to sort of find myself going back and then for it. I have to tailor it a little bit.
All right. Okay. Very good. Anyone else?
CRM updates, updating client records.
Mhm.
So here. time.
What does that normally involve when you say CRM update? What does that look like?
You updating meetings, right? Updating status of current agreements. I'm not sure how I would factor into that, but maybe that to some degree would be helpful.
So have you heard of Plaud? Plaud. So it's a device that sits in your pocket and records your day. So when you're having conversations with people, it'll actually record those conversations and give you a synopsis of your day to cut and paste those notes. And you can actually synchronize it probably with your CRM that will automatically upload those in there. Okay. Anyone heard of Plaud? You use Plaud. Okay. Yeah, you can do it on your phone. You can have it on your phone. So yeah.
For like meetings, summarizing our entire conversation that we had, we can easily just put it into the CRM. That's talks about like writing all the notes.
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
And that's what we'll see that today. I'll talk about using these different applications. We're really focused on 365, but there's a lot of other things out there to do there. Correct. I'll talk about Microsoft 365, the different licenses. If you have a business standard or better in Microsoft 365, you have everything that I'll be talking about today. And then once we go on the demonstration piece, I'm going to show you even more, like instructions on how to write emails. Have you looked at custom instructions? Have you looked at custom instructions inside Outlook? Okay, I'll show you that. So where you can actually put in instructions to get your tone the way you want it on a consistent basis, which will reduce that time from 30 minutes down to less than 10. So I'll show you that. Yes, ma'am.
Scheduling. And there are lots of scheduling softwares out there, but there just isn't one that fits how we work
Okay.
and what we need. So, and I've tried many, and it's just
What does that look like? What does scheduling entail? What makes it so unique to other?
different things. Other agencies use software that if they need to fill a certain slot, they will put this push notification out to everyone saying, hey, there's this open shift, who can fill it?
Okay.
Your agency. So we don't do that. We have specific teams of people, and we ask only certain people if you can fill a shift.
So when you say scheduling, you're talking about personnel to meet specific needs, a task or client and some of those tasks have specific certifications required to be in that situation.
Has your own care team.
Okay.
So we have a client and we have 5 or 6 nurses on that team. We only want to use those nurses.
Okay.
And the software that we use for home care is not, there's the software that we use does a lot of things, right? It does billing, it does scheduling, it does, nursing notes. It doesn't do scheduling very well.
Do you have Microsoft 365? Do you guys use Microsoft? Do you guys use Microsoft? Okay.
And because it's HIPAA compliant, we can't use scheduling software and connect it. So
We'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah. You may be happy to hear that some of the things I'll show you today can take your Excel spreadsheets and turn them into actions using agents that you can build by everything you described to me. You would basically say into a microphone to an agent, and that agent will say, okay. And within less than probably 2 minutes, you'll have an agent tweak it a little bit. And then next thing you know, your scheduling is working really well in your email box, just like that. So she was first, and then we'll come back to you. Go ahead. Plaud, Plaud. Go on Amazon. I want to say it's about $100-$200. Is that right? Yeah. And then you pay a subscription where it tracks all your notes, and they'll upload it in the cloud as well to do that. And so it's really, really helpful. Yes, sir.
Number one, time slot, especially for me,
like more on the business development side. Like especially like doing job chases, like
Job chases.
trying to go after roles.
Okay.
It's like a definitely a necessary evil, but it's just a lot of prospecting, illegally going through each company, figuring out who the right lead is,
Mhm.
putting that into the system to track the leads.
And how do you do that now?
So database, and I'll create an Excel sheet, go through all the jobs, and then I kind of use some automations where I copy all the new companies that do it.
Okay.
But it's probably my worst favorite thing.
How long does it normally take you to do that?
A couple hours.
A couple hours. Okay. Anyone else?
Like,
Anyone else? Mhm. So, pleasantly surprised, a lot of what I'll show you today, you own it already. You have it. It's right there. You're paying for it. The only thing you need to do is learn what I'll show you today, and you'll be able to start to engage with it. And not only the resident stuff, but then they have Copilot Studio, which allows you to build agents. And they've gotten to the point where these agents can actually log in for you. So you have special databases where you log in and do certain things. You can train that agent, will log in, say you start your day at 08 in the morning. At 07, this agent can kick on, log in for you, do your searches. So when you arrive at 8, your searches are done. The level, and it's again, you already own it. It's sitting there, and we'll talk about that here. And what's the ROI? And I just did simple math: $100 an hour, save 3 hours a week, 52 weeks, 15,000. Multiply that even more, 7 hours, which you'll start to see there's an ROI there. I show you this slide to say, is it worth investing my time to learn this stuff? Should I do this stuff? And this is also, as I was talking about a little bit earlier, this is the most overlooked part of AI right now. Everyone's talking about dancing cats and singing bears and all these other things, and they don't look at the productivity piece of how AI can do. Come on in, I think. Hank can come in, I think, way down there, and then to do that. And then the productivity piece that you can gain by saving time. And we're starting to look at different areas of way to do this and quantify this, because from a boss point of view, a director, a CEO, or you're having to go ask for a budget, they're like, why would I even invest in this? Why would it make sense? Well, then you start looking at this and look at your fully burdened rate and all these other ways to say, well, if I can take my employees and instead of them spending 3 hours a day in email, I can turn it into 30 minutes. What's that ROI, immediate ROI that we're looking at here? Okay. This is the workflow that we have for recruiting, onboarding, compliance reporting, strategy and insights, all these different things that we'll talk about today, and the different functional areas. Am I missing anything? Pretty much the fairly standard. Okay, very good. And we're going to just focus on the talent acquisition piece. There's a lot of areas here, as you can see here. We're just going to focus on that first square, talk about how you can use Copilot for different things involved in there, and go through the steps. Okay. And this is from intake, job posting and descriptions, candidate sourcing, screening and evaluation, interview and coordination, hiring manager review, offer negotiation, and onboarding. Does anyone use AI for any of these steps right now? Which part?
Intake and job definition, job posting and promoting it, candidate sourcing, screening evaluation.
And is it all within 365? ChatGPT?
Interview coordination, no. Hiring manager, no. Yeah, it's really just that first 3, 4, 5, 4 of them. That's where I mostly use that.
How many people use Microsoft 365 Copilot on a regular basis? Is that your primary AI platform? Yes. It's okay to say no.
I'm ChatGPT as well.
Okay.
The well as well. So
Okay.
Why is it all security?
Security is the main reason. Security, number one. Number two, logging in and out of platforms. And as I'll show you a little bit later, when you're in Microsoft 365, you have access to all your files, your spreadsheets, your emails, your Teams meetings, your documents, your Power presentations that you put together. All these things are right there at your fingertips. And so instead of downloading and uploading, which I use ChatGPT too a lot, so I download this, upload it over here. Now let's get an analysis. That result I got to take and dump over here. Well, if you're in Copilot, all that stuff stays together and it starts to learn the organization. So it's learning, just like ChatGPT knows you. It may not know your organization, but Copilot will start to learn your organization. Makes sense? So you are specifically Copilot, nothing else. Same thing. Okay. Same business, you guys are in the same team. Okay, very good. Interesting. So Copilot only. Interesting. Okay, so we'll see if I show you anything new today, right? So that's cool. So from the intake and job definition piece, by the way, you will all get all these slides. You will get all the prompts I'll show you. You'll get everything. So, if you're worried about taking notes, don't worry about it. You're going to get all this stuff. You're going to get all this stuff. And then if you want the pictures because you want to make your own presentations, let me know. Or really better yet, hire me to come in and do the presentations. But for intake and job definition, you can use Word Copilot to draft your job descriptions and revise existing templates. And it takes seconds. You'll see this. Teams, Copilot. How many people use Teams on a regular basis? And transcribe those notes and then look deep inside the conversation with there. So by the way, you talk to a hiring manager on a Teams call. And at the end of that Teams call, simply go to Copilot and say, summarize the call, bulletize our action items, everything. Correct. So you have you have Microsoft 365 or. Okay, now there's two, if you have, but you do that throughout your enterprise, right? How many people are in your company? So you most likely have like an E5 or an E3 standard license, which will have what I'm going to show you today. The caveat there is that your IT department can turn things on and turn things off. Correct. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and it's like done quickly. And that's where I was just saying, a point for you guys have it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. You got to turn on the Teams, right? You got to turn on the recording to do that. And there's an app on your phone for Microsoft 365. There's a recording function there too that you could record if you're in a meeting. You can turn that on. But it's a Microsoft 365. And again, your IT, that's the benefit from it, is that IT can turn security things on and turn them off. So you can have teams that have access to team stuff, but don't get access to other team stuff. Other teams don't get access to your stuff. And IT can control all that. Here's the bad news. A lot of IT guys don't know, and nor do they understand Copilot and how to leverage it for your organization. They know how to keep it secure, but if you go in there and say, hey, I want Copilot, can you show me how to use it? Most of them won't know how to do it. They're using ChatGPT just like everybody else. Okay. And Copilot Chat, which is the ideation. Just like ChatGPT, you can go into Copilot Chat and do that and get it to give you information that way. Job posting and promotion. Again, you can develop your job posting. There you can train it to say, acting like a forensic psychologist. Rewrite the following job post to appeal to an engineering personality. Oh. Act like a forensic psychologist and write that job post to appeal to the personality that you're looking for. Thoughts? See, I got the side look. Okay. Yes, sir.
Have a team's interview meeting somewhere saying, hey, based on the knowledge of this person.
Exactly. Yep. I do it every day. I have a Teams meeting and I'm wrap up my meetings, follow-up actions within 5 minutes after that meeting's over. It's out the door. Yep. because I use their words, the right conversations. It's all their words. So, sir.
Quality that work actually matching to the individual.
Very well. Well, you get the opportunity to review it, right? And we'll talk about instructions here in a second, custom instructions where you can tailor it even better and more refined and get in there. Cool.
We got rid of the calendar from late training, it's AI. So,
You gotta work with it, you gotta test it, you gotta train it to what you want, and that's how you get the better things. The whole point is you get using it, it will get smarter about what you want and how you want to see things. Correct. Yeah. Do you all ever create PowerPoints for your clients? How long does that normally take you?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the client, but you know, they could be a couple hours for sure. Yeah.
So we'll do this a little bit later. I'll show you where you can build an entire presentation in about 3 minutes. So if I can give you back 3 hours, would that be helpful? All right, we'll show you how to do it. All right, cool. So that's PowerPoint.
Emails, everything's been good. When I tried it with PowerPoint, I've got some crummy things there. So
You just got to train it, right? Get it in there. Candidate sourcing, thoughts? Yes, sir.
I think it was like 2 weeks after you came into the sales club, we had a speaker cancel on us the day before. And I had like multiple tests the next day. So driving to campus after I take my test, I was in voice mode with Copilot, having it prompt a PowerPoint that I gave the sales club
Nice.
to the speaker, and it ended up being one of our first meetings. So
Well done. Well done. Good job. And it's just, that's the power you have, right? That's the advantage that nobody's thinking about right now, you know. Candidate sourcing, tracking candidates in an Excel spreadsheet, chatting with Copilot for ideation, outreach messages, and Teams Copilot summarizing discussions with your HR managers and even candidates in building these things out. Okay, screening and evaluation, looking at resumes. How long does it take you to review a resume? 5 seconds. For all my students in the room, do you hear that? Go ahead, Victoria. Interesting. And that'll be some of the things you guys can talk about when we get to networking as we wrap this up a little bit later, to ask those questions. And that's, again, thank you for coming to engage with the recruiters, and recruiters, thank you for engaging with the students, because we want to exchange that value, you know, to have that happen. And Outlook is a huge opportunity. We always start with the inbox, get that inbox to inbox 0 within a few minutes, not a few hours. So instead of spending 3 hours in email, you're spending minutes in email, and that's much better. Interviewing, coordination, scheduling, Teams meetings, Excel spreadsheets. Again, you can track these things. These are all happening. You can automate this as well. Hiring manager reviews, when you're meeting with the manager, having that Teams meeting, bringing up candidates, recording that entire conversation, and then afterwards, again, within 5 minutes, summarizing, bulletizing, and actionizing what needs to happen next, and you're done. You're moving on. How long does that normally take you now after you talk to a hiring manager?
Me, it takes longer after the candidate, because with few clients, you can just phone straight away or get the resumes over. But if we're expecting to network, to also grow our network, that takes longer.
Okay. Interesting.
Sorry, right.
So I think you're gonna like spec resume out to the network to want to bring in for I mean. But that's my main problem.
Normalized resumes, at the very first.
Interesting.
And I'm wasted. Time. Other people in my business will say different things, but for me, like, get it out, let it move on, let's go to anyone else.
Okay.
So I'm fine with that. A client to an administrator if it's right. No, that's not good.
To have a base write-up, but I'm only not like, yeah, I'm almost positive that they're barely reading it, they're just looking.
Yeah.
No, I think the opposite of my clients. I think that my clients, depending on how long the resume is, they'll go and say, they'll basically, we build a relationship, they trust me, they'll read the summary and then.
If it's client was already looked, yeah, log it all the whole and be like, trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's me client.
Okay. Very good. And offer negotiations, again, using Word, Copilot, Outlook to streamline things. We're ready to get to some actual use cases here in a second. Then onboarding, handoff. When you onboard somebody, Copilot has an HR agent that you can train to do onboarding and certifications and all these different things. I'll show you that here in a second, which again will streamline because you just program it and it'll do a lot of the onboarding that you go through. It'll help get that done. Get that done. Okay. All right. This is what we want. Happy recruiters. Right? That's what we want. Not stressed at the end of the day. Copilot versus ChatGPT. The main reason to use Copilot is security. The other benefit is that you own it, and ChatGPT is inside Copilot. How many people knew that? Right?
Recently,
Been about 3 months now. 3 months from now, right? Here, see right there. You see it up in the corner. Try ChatGPT. So next time you go into, is this what you see when you see chat? You start here. So you got ChatGPT 5 up there. So you get the reasoning without the security risk. So it'll use the ChatGPT engine of reasoning and understanding and analysis without having to risk using or exploring or exposing your information out to the bigger world. Now, Darwin here is my cybersecurity expert, and we can talk about that, but there's a big risk, and no one's talking about that when people use these open AI systems, these open systems, they're exposing all their data. And we call it shadow AI. There's people using AI within your company that you have not authorized them to use it, nor have you authorized what information they're allowed to share with the AI thing. And when you have someone who understands how to prompt, you can go in and find information. So you can do that as well. So that's one of the reasons to use 365 is that you have that security, that you protect your data. Yep.
Scale it back. All
And all we have to do is ask it a different way, right? Once they take that away, we'll just ask it a different question. And what I did, and the reason I became concerned about security is I was researching a client, it's a real estate firm, said, show me how this real estate firm goes to market. We were going to do some training for them and said, oh, this is what they do. They use proprietary database X, proprietary database Y, and this is what they do. And I said, okay, if I wanted to model that proprietary database, what would it look like? Oh, just like this. Or if I'd ask, tell me the database and what's in there, it would say, no, I can't tell you that. But if you say model it and you know enough about the business, you'll be able to figure out what that database does. And we have a proprietary data feed here. Well, I can get that data feed too. I can do that. So think about that as you're building AI into your company. Build it in a secure way. Build your policies the best way that you can grow with it, not go really, really far. And then all of a sudden there's a security risk and now you're shut down. You got to start all over. That's another reason I'm a 365 evangelist, so to speak, where I come out like the security's here. You got to use it. You'll gain from it. You'll gain from it. That's where your IT team has turned some things off. And you have to ask them. I have another client that I work with who's in a aerospace industry. They have Copilot. He had to go to IT and demand this level of Microsoft 365. Demand it.
What is it called? The bottom left will just say it proper. Like that.
Interesting. So if your IT team hasn't paid for the license, it's $30 extra a month per person. A lot of them aren't turning it on because they don't want to waste the money because people aren't using it. So, and as you see here, it's in all your apps. You got Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. And when you're working in PowerPoint, you can reference documents in Word and it'll pull that information in. It'll do all that stuff. So now again, you own it. It's sitting there. Potentially. What do you want to build it for? If you know what you want, we'll talk about the methodology here, SCALEHound, what it stands for, state the problem, collect the data, assess the AI platform, launch the prompt, execute and refine. If you know a clear problem and what the result you want, you can use AI to build out the result that you're looking for. How to use it, we're getting ready to get into this here in a second. These are the specialized agents, what you can use it for. We gave you several use cases here for the recruiting agency, and then best practices. And what's great about AI now, you can talk to it the way I'm talking to you right now. Just describe what you want, and it will help build what you're looking for. You don't have to go through a prompt engineering class that takes hours and hours that you need to do. If you know what you want, what the problem is, ask the AI, how do I solve this problem using AI? And it will tell you exactly how to use it. Does that make sense? Okay. Outlook. This is my Outlook account. So you can see right up here in the upper right-hand corner, you just turn it on. And what I did here is I pulled the prompt up, summarize this week's email from Jeff into a project update, draft a reply that confirms next steps and highlights any required actions for me. That was my prompt. Within 3 seconds, I get all the emails and he drafts up a reply to an email. How long would it have taken you to find all those emails from Jeff, read all those emails from Jeff, figure out what you have to do to catch up in that particular project or that particular thing? How long does that take you? You can get it done in about 3 to 5 seconds using that prompt with Copilot. Again, you already own it. It's already sitting there. Teams, one of my favorite use cases. I use it all the time. Here, Copilot. You see Copilot, turn on here. And this is even Copilot chat. It's like recap the meeting about the discussion for AI for financial analysis for divorce cases, list key decisions, deadlines, and who formatted into a bulleted action list I can share with the foreman or with the person I'm looking for. Go there, and this is the level of detail that I got. How long do you think it took to make that happen? About 10 seconds. About 10 seconds, okay? Would that be helpful after having a conversation? Or better yet, it's 3 weeks later. You haven't talked to this person. You don't remember what the conversation was about. Instead of going back and listening to the entire conversation, reading the entire transcript, just going to AI and saying, hey, tell me what I need to know. And it'll tell you what I need to know. Word. Again, here it is. See it up at the right-hand corner, sitting right there. Open it up, the prompts, draft a subcontractor agreement for a divorce financial analysis project, including scope of work, payment terms, safety requirements, and deadlines. Use professional but plain language. Use that for a job order, use that for a consulting gig, do whatever you want. Within 17 seconds, it built out a subcontractor agreement. Take that agreement, cut and paste, and now it's in a document ready to go. Now you would train it to your agreements, to your nuances that you have for your specific organization, and it will get better and draft and build these out. So within 30 seconds, I had a subcontractor agreement, cut and paste, ready to go to send out to do that. Make sense? Any wheels spinning yet? It's like, yeah. Oh, well,
Cool, I thought that one. Like just scaling back, getting like legal and financial, but
it's possible. I haven't really kept up on that part of the ChatGPT side. You know, my main focus has been on 365, but it's possible. You know, because they built those GPTs for legal analysis. You see the private GPTs.
We had to write our call it when you need some of your employees to sign a non-compete.
Non-compete.
And we're gonna pay a lawyer, thousands to write us one. We needed one that was very solid because we had, that we lost the case because, It is complicated when you get into it. Where, you know, the nurses took over the case and our non-compete was not strong. And so we had this other case, you know, a lot of problems, didn't want to lose it. And we just didn't have time. It's like, you know, I'm gonna go into ChatGPT.
Chat it up. Chatty G.
Again, and our specific situation, the problem, we actually have one of our clients is one of the top labor lawyers in New York.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, we also had a lawyer, so we had, you know, this lawyer look at it, it's lawyer, not a lawyer. He's like, oh, it's fantastic. We had him look at it. He was like, he had no changes.
Good.
So.
Hey, cool. So it worked. It took you a few hours, which instead of spending $500 an hour, your time was invested in making sure that worked. Yeah.
Get someone and working with them to just, you know, lawyer to the lawyer work with. And he's a lot of money for it.
Absolutely. Especially a New York lawyer. That's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
I think it's pretty good. If you have background in that area, you kind of know what you're looking for, but it just takes a little longer because you have to prompt and then, you know, keep asking questions as if it's a consultant. Right.
And you can build those specific agents. Yeah. And you can train agents to do that. Now you've done that once, you could train an agent to do that on a consistent basis. And again, you can still do that kind of level of work inside 365. Here's Excel. Again, it's there. As you can see in the upper right hand corner. And here we had it analyze, go through and analyze these bids, show me a side-by-side comparison of cost, delivery time, and warranty terms, highlight the best options. Doing that for a candidate, cost, those type of things. Went through it in 30 seconds, gave me a side-by-side comparison of the bids, extracting the cost, delivery time, warranty terms for each bid, the best options highlighted, lowest cost, shortest delivery time, et cetera, et cetera. So within 30 seconds, if you have a list of vendors that you use and they've all submitted a bid, you mentioned you could have bring an Excel spreadsheet. If you create a folder inside Outlook Copilot and all your bids go into that folder, you can go to Copilot and say, I need you to extract all the proposals from these vendors with their pricing and their proposals and put it in a spreadsheet, and it'll put it in a spreadsheet. Good. Okay. This is the reasoning piece for this. In HR, you have to build briefs, compliance briefs, training, those types of things. So we had to do this for a toolbox agenda for contractors. They build out these briefs they have to do in 10 minutes. So we went to regular chat, research, create a 10-minute toolbox talk agenda on safety ladders for construction crew, include 3 key risks, 3 preventive steps, and 2 discussion questions. How long would it normally take someone to do that? At least a couple hours, right? At least a couple hours, if they knew what they were talking about. If they didn't, who knows how long it would take. So within 10 seconds, we had a full research presentation built. Then we went over to PowerPoint using our create a presentation button right here. We talked about creating presentations earlier, it takes a few hours. Copy and pasted that information in. And within 30 seconds, it had an outline. And then built out the slides. So from 3 hours to 2 minutes. They found this imagery, but oh, you mean like branding on your slides? Yes, you can add your own slides. We're gonna go back here where it says change the design. You can have your template in there and it'll pull that template in and it'll do it. So if you have a end of quarter brief you have to do, and you just go in, say create a presentation based on this brief, and it'll build out your presentation to do that. Yes, sir. What I found, Gamma.app is a different application that can build PowerPoints. It can build documents and all that. What I found with Gamma app was that when I created the slides, I couldn't edit them. They're all individual pieces of text, where when I have it like this, it's a pretty good presentation. I can go and edit pretty easily. I can change the theme, I can change the pictures, and it's really easy because I understand PowerPoint. Where Gamma gave me a PowerPoint presentation, but it was very stuck in what it is. I couldn't play with it the way I could play with this. Do that. Yes, questions? Let's get to work, Randy. We don't want to talk anymore. Okay. So the methodology we use is the SCALEHound. SCALEHound is scale, state the problem, collect the data, assess the AI, launch the prompt building process, execute, and refine. That's where SCALEHound comes from. Again, you're going to get all these slides, so you're going to have all this information. If you want to write it down anyway, go ahead. Right. And the reason we built this is because when you have a clear problem and you have clear data, what you have to solve the problem, the AI you can plug and play. You always consider which AI platforms are out there that you can use to solve that specific problem. And they're changing fast. They're changing so fast. Everything that I've talked to you about today, 2 months from now, will be obsolete because they will have advanced it much further along. Right? And you can always come back and look at and plug in the AI that you need to plug in to solve the problem you need to solve. Building presentations, building videos, building spreadsheets, and all these other things. But a lot of that capability is within Microsoft Copilot. Does that make sense? Thoughts? All right, you guys ready to look? Play some? Okay. If you go to AI in a day, a-n-a-day.com/HR, all the slide presentation, the prompts we're getting ready to go through, all that is there for you. Say again?
No, it's
Oh, free. I'm sorry. That's not my fault. I can't adjust your IT guys. That's it. Yep. Download it all. It's all there. It's all for you. It's all for you. All right. Cool. All right. Pull this up. Okay. Now I get to put my glasses on. Okay. So this is the chat experience that we have here. And the way you know you have the correct Copilot is if you do a /, all of a sudden all your files show up here. People in your organization, files you have access to, meetings, Teams meetings that you've done, emails, all your emails come in, different chats that you've done, sites and others. So other things that you have access to. And it accesses all this stuff. And it has like a big brain. It has all this information that you can tap into as you need it. So if you're in Copilot now and you do that /, you should be able to see this. If you don't, you most likely don't have Microsoft 365 Copilot, or your IT team hasn't given you access to it. Does that make sense? Who has this? You guys have it? Do you guys have, does it look like this? Only giving you files. So so that demonstrates how IT has restricted certain things and allowed you to do certain things. Now in the chat experience, up here in the right-hand corner, down at settings, that's where we're talking about custom instructions. Come over here, you can go into data controls, personalization. This is where you can add instructions to tell it how you want it to respond, your personality. If you want to sign emails a specific way, it'll sign those emails a specific way. You can give it specific instructions to more mirror the results you want to receive from the AI experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm using ChatGPT, the same function, right?
Correct.
Emails.
I'll show you that as well. I'll show you that as well, because you can take that same ability into Outlook and it'll do that as well. Yes.
What specific details in there on how I would want my emails personalized, etc. I have, tons of emails in Outlook that have my tone, everything with it. Is there an easy way to, hey, read all of my emails to understand what my tone looks like? And
You just go to, this is the Outlook experience, go to Copilot and say exactly what you said. Create. I'd go back in, just see how it's going to work. Technology will fail at the perfect time every single time. Okay. Read my emails and create custom instructions to reflect my tone and personality. How long did that take? Here are my instructions. Tone, voice, structure, content style, engagement style. And I can just copy and paste it in there. So I don't have to go to an engineering class, read all my emails, and figure out what my instructions need to be. That's what I was mentioning before. The whole point of me giving this class is hopefully to teach you how to fish. And then if you want to do more complicated stuff or just more stuff, and you don't want to spend hours figuring it out, then that's where I come in to help you get that stuff done quickly. And a lot of what I'll do is exactly what I'm doing here, what I'm doing. Ask the prompt, well, how would I do this? And then we'll show you how to do that. So personalization's here, custom instructions, Copilot memory. You can actually get it to work with your memory and do that's where your IT is going to get involved. And then agents. You can build agents right here. These are agents. If you want to create an agent, who wants to create an agent? Go ahead.
CEO is doing a lot of this at the moment, like consulting.
So what kind of agent you want to build?
That's the pain about
Just describe what you want.
think one also about the environmental industry in Los Angeles and creates a journey for great novel creative lifestyle to post on
I'm going to say in a professional, you kind of quirky, professional but quirky, quirky tone. Okay. So we're going to add here, instead of saying take articles, we say search for articles. So you can run this every morning if you wanted to.
So also I'll be able to automate that. So from now on, at 8 a.m. every Friday, go in and create this. And can you actually get it to actually post on, let's say LinkedIn or various websites?
So you have to do some connections through Copilot Studio. But yes, you can have that happen too.
Okay.
So what I want to show you here is how easy it is to build an agent. So your thought was simply search for articles. You want to do it every Friday for environmental industry from Los Angeles and create an article in a professional but quirky tone. Now we're building an agent. So it's going through, and right now what it's doing is building out the instructions to execute that result that you want to happen. It's going through. It's okay. We'll come back to the safety piece. We'll come back to the safety piece, right? But here, it's already here. The agent is now set up to search for articles from the environmental industry in Los Angeles and generate professional but quirky article based on those findings. Next, let's choose a name for your agent. I suggest the name LA Green Quirk. I like it. Okay. So now it's done. Okay, so it'll build it out. And I'm going to show you the back behind the curtain here in a second. And you should have access to this agent. You should be able to do it currently. Okay. And here's configure details. I can change this icon to be more icon. I'll come back to you in a second. Name, description, but here are the instructions that tell the AI agent what to do. And here's the knowledge. So if you had a specific website you wanted to go to find these particular items, you can put that URL here. You could add multiple. I think it's up to 5 you can put here, different URLs. Capabilities, suggested prompts, is just kind of brain teasers you can see over here. Find the article, and we'll just see what it comes up with. So it's going to go out there and it's going to search and come through there. And so then it works, or it didn't work. Okay. Fine. Now, since I've had it up and running, sometimes what will happen is it'll disconnect from the big world and you got to refresh the screen and do all that. See if it does it. Yeah, something went wrong. So what I'd have to do is actually create it, configure it. But the point here is that You have knowledge that you can add to it. So you can have specific links as well as click these buttons here, code interpreter and image generator. You can actually generate images. Oh, it looked like it did something. All right, cool. Yes, sir.
So could you like add your own biases, for example, like, taking into consideration that I'm extremely pro-capitalist and include that in all of my, and then also could I upload my papers that I've written in the past into the instructions and be like.
As knowledge. Yes. Mhm. That goes back to the email instructions, right? I don't have to spend hours trying to figure it out. I just ask it to build it for me.
Agent could have.
Correct.
You have one agent that specifically talks to you for any task.
Correct. There's somebody I know, he has like 5 different personalities inside his AI. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, doing all that. Okay. The other thing I want to show you, so that's how you can build an agent. Pretty simple. And again, just talking to it the way you talk to it there. And then just the next step of once you build it is to train it, meaning run it through iterations and say, nope, don't like that. Do it better this way. And just like you would have an assistant, if you had an assistant, you wanted to write articles for you, you would tell them to go write an article. They would submit it to you. You would review it and correct it to your tone and personality. That's the same way you want to work with an agent, just like it was a person or an assistant. Give it more detailed instructions so that it can get better at what it does. Does that make sense?
We say we do the upgrades to be able to automate it on a random day and also get a host for you.
So this is here is Copilot Studio, a little bit more advanced than this class, but just to kind of give you an idea of the capabilities of this and what this is where you build out custom agents. This is where we can help as well. We can come in and build out these custom agents, but we have to work with your IT to make sure they're going to give you access to this stuff first. That's part of step one. We start to engage with the companies like, okay, what are you going to allow them to do? And a lot of times it's like, well, we don't know. But here, different agents, what I want to show you here are the flows. And then if I want to create a new flow, no, come over here to tools. This will be a better. Well, I want to show you all the different connections you can connect to. These are outside the, where it connects through APIs to other applications that are out there. I just have it bookmarked, but the bookmark is copilotstudio.microsoft.com. Your IT may have blocked it. You may not have access to it, but that's where it is. And then when you have a new tool, here you got all these, my computer engineers love this. They see this and they go all kinds of gaga over it. I'm like, all right. Because here, this, remember computer use, this is where it will log in for you. It will do searches for you. It will go to LinkedIn, for example, and find candidates on your behalf and like their comments and do all that. That's what this one does right here. Right here. And then custom connectors. Say it again. One of those platforms does that. There's several platforms that start to do that. Yeah. Agent flow, new agent flow, add a trigger. What I'm going to show you here is like all these different triggers. As you can see here, there's a bunch of third-party apps, Excel spreadsheets, OneNote, Planner, Adobe, a ton of them. And this is where you start to automate and connect different functions. And then the other benefit of agents, come out of here, no, is you can connect agents. So you can build a specialty agent that does specifically research for articles. Then you build another agent that writes articles. Then you write another agent that posts those articles to LinkedIn. Then you write another agent that posts those articles to Facebook. Each one of those are specific agents. And one of the things that Copilot does now is it allows you to connect agents. So you can have a master agent, social media agent, and build these individual agents that will do that work on your behalf. And you can then connect all these different agents. You can create an agent, or like for me, I've built agents for grant writing, grant research, and all these other pieces. But that's a little bit more advanced than today. Okay. Once you connect it, You have to connect it. It's a little bit more advanced than what we're doing today. So, but I mean, there. The other thing I want to show you here in agents, with all agents, is that Microsoft has already built several agents that are specialized. One is research or deep research. So if you want to deep research candidates in off of LinkedIn, deep research will go in and do that kind of research. Prompt coach, I don't know what to prompt or how to tell the AI what to do. This will tell you how to prompt it. Analyst is a spreadsheet data guru. So you can drop a spreadsheet in and say, find patterns, tell me my data is dirty and how to clean it up. It'll do all that work for you. Surveys. I used this the other day. We were creating a survey, working with a client. They're like, we need to create a survey for this. And I showed them and said, well, go here. And it was very simple of create a survey. We'll do it right here. Open it up. So I go in a / right? I find the email, lunch with Darwin, talks about high level, right? I say, create a survey based on this email. Now, how long does it take to create a survey? Too long, because nobody cares right now. Yeah, but it creates a survey. It's going to read that email. Now we're going to create a survey, and it's going to connect it to different forms in the process. Now let's see if it works. Come on in. Here we go. Your survey is ready. Come on. Here we go. And what it shows you, come back up here. So let's see the survey. This survey is already in Microsoft Forms. It's already ready to go. All you have to do is open it in Forms. Now you have a link, which I'll give you over here, that you can send out. So I can collect responses. I can do a link, boom, done. So from an email, say the boss says, hey, I want to find out what everybody wants to do for the Christmas party. Create a survey, Christmas party. Within a few seconds, it's done. You review it, good to go. There's the link, it sends it out. It's all within your Microsoft 365 instance. So it's all secure. You don't have to worry about trying to connect to SurveyMonkey or any of these other things. It's already here. It's already ready to go. You can't. You're just going to have to come in and open up. And that's where we're going to talk to. Anyone can respond. That means they don't have to be, as it says here, doesn't have to be signed in. Okay, so again, surveys, how long does it take you to do it? Too long. We all agree, too long, right?
Clients automatically get survey, well, they're all when they start. That's when we get 20 messages. Cool. That's cool.
I'll make sure I show you all these agents. Again, the whole purpose here is to really just show you have a lot of this stuff. And when you're building out different agents, see what they already have. And what I'm noticing in the market is what Microsoft does, it watches the market. And when somebody has a great idea, they bring it in to Microsoft. 80% of businesses are on Microsoft 365. So if you're going to invest in learning a platform, Copilot is worth your time to learn this, whether it's for your company or if you go to another company, they're going to want to know this. Does this make sense? Okay. Again, there's all here. These are other third-party agents that you can connect to as well. You can create your own agent and you can do all these things, right? Chat. We've talked about Teams. Okay. We talked about Word. I've demonstrated all these here and Copilot. Okay. So with that, what I'd like for you guys to do is work together and build some workflows. Think of a problem, state the problem. What's the problem? What data do you have, if any? Create the workflow right here, right now. So we have different computers. Go ahead and work with someone, pull up whichever AI platform you want to use, and I'll be here to help coach you through it.
With those configurations to avoid people scraping dirt on truth. So two things that you can consider is, you might, through, the Copilot Studio, there might be a way that you can get around that. The other thing on the hallucinations is get a couple of PDFs of the types of articles and websites that you want to focus on. Sure. And use it to train your agent. Also,
So just like 30 more seconds, we're going to keep moving forward. So.
I just have one more comment.
Yeah.
Say, the other one, when you're training your agent, try to find give it start with specific resources that you know that they're not behind a paywall, or that you have tested it and you are getting some of that kind of stuff.
I mean, we can talk about this stuff all day long, so I don't want to.
Yeah, no.
So the main point of showing everyone this today is really the time you can save. By saving hours and hours and hours. We talked about email, PowerPoint takes 3 or 4 hours. We did it in 3 minutes. Email, reading 2 or 3 hours a day, turning it down to 30 minutes. A Teams meeting where you have notes and summarizing and creating action items and following up. Again, take an hour. Now you got it done in less than 3 minutes. So that's the whole point, is you're saving time. And you have this opportunity now with technology, going from the horse carriage to the car. Anyone heard of Studebaker? Studebaker, what did they do before they made a car? Made a horse buggy, right? Is Studebaker around today? No, they failed to adopt. Anyone heard of Blockbuster? Gone, right? That's business case, right? They failed to adapt. Kodak? All right, that's what I was saying. Kodak, there's some other ones out there, right? And then here, electricity. We had to read by candlelight. Now you can turn night into day. That's where you are with technologies. We were talking earlier, it's coming. You can either get on the train or get run over by the train. It's your choice. Companies, small companies can 10x overnight without hiring new people. So if you're a big company saying, I don't have to worry about it, a small company can match your size rapidly without hiring more people. Imagine what you can do when you start to engage with this on a regular basis. Even if your people, if they're working late, 16, 18-hour days, working weekends, engage with AI, and they won't work it, right? And there's all these AIs are fighting for position. They're trying to be the first one. A lot of us are on ChatGPT, so it's like, I don't really want to leave ChatGPT, and that's their game. Get them on, get them sticky, and they stick. And then you show up as a leader, giving good information, directing them, helping them solve the problem. Yeah. All right. And this concept comes from the military called OODA loop. Has anyone heard of OODA loop before? So OODA loop, we use this in the military when we're in a chaotic scenario. Observe, orient, decide, and act. He who decides faster wins, faster relative to the competition. And with AI coming out and doing everything that it's doing, if you read, observe, orient, decide, and act, you can move faster than your competition. Don't think the small guys are ignoring this. And a lot of small guys are doing this because that's all they have. They can spend money on electrons and not on people. So they're learning how to do that. And you can build an agent, several we talked about here, and copy and paste to expand your workforce instantly. And when you implement OODA, you become the victorious guy in that space. Does that make sense? Thoughts?
Very excited. Like recruiters, there's like a weird relationship with AI.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for the recruiting firm, you wanna think that you're better than the AI when you don't want like it to take over your job. Like what we do in the last 10 years, we really just kind of started doing things over the phone or on LinkedIn. I used to bring in candidates, clients in person. We do everything in person. Then it's now LinkedIn. So that's even an automation in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ever-changing industry. So you really have to adapt or get left behind.
Exactly. And we'll talk about the Jevin paradox. The Jevin paradox, is that the right one? The Jevon paradox talks about how when new technology comes on board, how demand, when costs go down, demand goes up, which increases market share. So when the cost of recruiting goes down, more people will want to engage with recruiters, which will increase the demand for recruiters. Does that make sense? If I don't have to spend as much to get a recruiter, but I can get the benefits of a recruiter at a lower cost because you guys can automate more, reduce your cost, then I would more likely use a recruiter than not. Does that make sense?
Costs would go down. Agencies that charge.
Their cost would go down, but say I'm a business person and I don't engage with recruiters because it costs too much. But another recruiter shows up and said, hey, we do automation. In fact, there's a company in the Citrus Club, Adam. Do you know Adam? He has a beard, but that's what they do. They basically charge a flat rate of $5,000 no matter what. Yeah, that's what they do. They use a lot of AI to source and find people. And they're reducing that cost, making it a standard cost, and they'll work with anyone versus a standard 20 or 30% per annum, that kind of thing. Yeah, there's
Lots of stuff.
I think that what AI will provide, and going back to John's paradox, is there will be opportunities where markets that before were not open to be able to hire a recruiter. High-end recruiting, executive recruiting, there's always a high-touch business. But sometimes maybe in middle to smaller market companies that might not contract with a recruiter before, because of AIs and efficiencies that they had, you could come up with price points where you can have price differentiation where we will expand the market. So what this does is that the efficiencies will open the door for more people to look for the recruitment assistant where, like for example, small, medium-sized businesses might not have a dedicated recruiter that now, because AI allows you to provide a lower price point for that differentiated customer, it's a market that is opening for you that you didn't have before.
Mhm.
Because they might not be able to afford the 20-30% a fee, but something like a smaller, like a subscription model or a smaller
And that's something to engage with Darwin on strategy. That's one of the things he does is help build these kind of strategies and how to implement AI. And he also looks at the security side as well. You had a question? Comment?
Is a big problem in healthcare. I forgot the statistics, but in 10 years or so, we're gonna be so behind in being able to supply the industry with the amount of nurses that are needed. So a huge problem. But anyway,
Darwin, did you bring business cards?
Is this,
I don't have.
is there
I have my-
a pilot can place the recruiting apps, the ones that automate
Mhm.
when you hire someone and to schedule them and
Yep.
so on. Copilot can do that.
It has an HR module, an HR agent that specializes in HR functions. We'll have to look more into it, but it wouldn't be far off if it didn't do it exactly the way you wanted. It wouldn't take much to get to where you want to go. But that's part of what we want to talk about through the screen share, and I'll show you where the HR module is. Let's get you on the right subscription first, right? Then once we get you on the right subscription, I'll show you how to go around and play and learn and get comfortable with it, and then see how you want to bring the rest of your team on it. Because if you use it and it's great, if your team's not using it, you're not really getting the benefit of all this automation because you are doing all the work now because you can automate it. And just imagine if your team can do more with less, how much more you can do when you get that moving forward. Does that make sense? Look, we got a few more minutes, so let's go ahead. And inside that packet of information, you have this 10 first tries. This is for your team that isn't using Copilot right now. Hand them this. Inside there also is a prompt sheet. So you can download all this, you can print this off, hand it to them, The prompt sheet's in there. It tells them what prompts they can use and try these things. Because the whole idea is get them comfortable using it and to start to see the benefits of using it. Okay. What I like to do is offer a strategy call that's set up to where, we sit down and talk. Keep in mind the ROI we talked about earlier by just saving 3 hours a week. And that, what I would say, is the minimum you're going to gain by starting to implement these processes. And the offer I have for you today is basically for $9.97. We do an AI audit workflow. We map out your workflow. We build your prompt, your template, your SOPs, and we deliver it ready to go. And the whole point is to show you how to do it. If after that you want us to build more workflows, we're happy to do that. But if after that you're like, we get it, we can do it on our own, that's okay too. We want you to use this stuff because it's only going to benefit you. Yes, sir.
Individuals, do you feel like you went off those values?
The most value I'm seeing is that, I'll give you a couple of use cases. Procurement. We took to build an RFP, request for proposal, would take 40 hours. We condensed it to an hour. That was from identification of requirement, market research, finding vendors, writing RFP, sending the RFP to the vendors, receiving those proposals, evaluating them, and actually awarding that contract from 40 hours to an hour. Another one is with a commercial real estate firm where they're writing leases. They have to constantly review the leases to find the nuances, redlining, and all this other stuff. Now, when you use AI Copilot, because we have the secure side, Copilot can go through and review those leases, find the problems, and then give you suggestions on how to correct them. Does that make sense? So where the opportunity that I see and what we're kind of focused at the desktop level, the CEOs, the directors need to know it and see the value. But then we want to get at the desktop level, because if you can get these kind of efficiencies at the people doing the work every day, how much more can you get done? What more bigger markets can you go after? What more clients can you talk to? So I was talking to someone the other day, CEO research was one of her issues. Like, I have to get on, I spend 3 to 4 hours a day researching a CEO before I engage with them. It's like, okay, well, what if we could do that in 10 minutes instead of 3 hours? What would you do with that time? I would talk to more CEOs, right? And we have a prompt using deep research. Remember Researcher I showed you? You can go into Researcher, and I did this because I was doing a proposal earlier this week. I said, go find out everything you can about this company, everything about the CEO. Go. I went, got a drink, went to the bathroom, let the dogs out, came back, and I had like 30 pages of information about this company, the CEO, what he's done, what he hasn't done, all this other stuff in there. So quality of life, 1, 2, 15 minutes later, I got 30 pages of information. How long would it take you to go to all those websites, look at those informations, in addition to all the distractions and everything else you're trying to do when you're trying to research this kind of stuff? Does that make sense? Did I answer your question though?
Tyler, like, give me that as well.
Yeah. That's right.
Use with AI, people who aren't relational, and stuff. So
Absolutely. More, and then even a team that now they can talk to more CEOs, right? So now that you're starting to get them out of the office, it's like, okay, you don't need to be in the office all day, even though they don't want to talk to anybody, right? I really don't want to talk to anybody, right? Instead, you say, listen, I got your work, it's done. Now go talk to a CEO, go to a networking event. I don't have time for networking events. Well, now you do, right? I can go do these things. So you become more human when you start to engage with the AI. Fair enough? Okay. Again, the November, a lot of holidays, 8 this month, so definitely hop in on this. Let's engage, get you all squared away to take care of this stuff. Book your audit, scan the code, it'll take you to a page. You can go ahead and book your call. We'll hop on a call, go through your AI workflow, and just focus on one problem. Scale, state the problem, focus on one problem, and we'll build it out. All right. Talk to our UCF students, please, all your recruiters here. They came up, and they came all the way from UCF, downtown UCF, came up here to, and I'm done, so please, let's open it up, ask questions. If we want to network and have individual conversations, please. Any questions for me? You want to do it? Let's do a picture real